Good morning, everyone. First of all, I would like to introduce myself. I'm Raffaella Tabacco. I work at the University of Udine at the Department of Economics and Statistics. I teach innovation management and accounting and management for sustainable business. Today, my goal is to present innovation as a managerial challenge. I think that during this week you have known many new technologies and probably you have started to think at the possibilities, opportunities for transforming these technologies into innovative products, innovative processes, and so on. And today I would like to stress one point. If you want to use one technology, and you want to use this technology for transforming this technology into a successful innovation, you have to consider that management is very important. In other terms, if you think at innovation, you have to consider not only the technological dimension, but you have also to consider managerial dimension that could help you to transform a potentially successful idea into a successful product or successful, in general, a successful innovation, okay? So I will divide my lesson into two parts. In the first part, I would like to stress the idea of innovation as a managerial challenge. In the second part, I would like to present you innovation both as an outcome and as a process. In other terms, when you think at innovation, you could think at as a result, an innovative product, innovative process, innovative business model, but you have also to consider that innovation is a process. And so for you, it's very important to identify the main activities that compose this innovation process. Okay, so let's start with the first part, innovation as a managerial challenge. Two main points. First of all, I would like to present you an innovation story that could help you to be aware that behind an industry revolution, there is very frequently an innovation story, innovation case, innovation process. And in the second part, I would like to present to answer to this question. Why is innovation management so important? And this second part will help you to understand why the management of innovation is very useful for being successful. Okay? So let's start with the first point. In this first part, I would like to propose you a song, Crazy. Do you know this song, Crazy? Have you ever listened this song? Perhaps we can listen this song. Some advertising, but then we can start. You can, perhaps it's not possible to listen to you very well, this song. The sound is not. Okay. Only a part of this song, of course, but I think it's a good idea to start with this song, because it is a very interesting song, because not only it won a number of several music awards, Grammy Awards, Record of the Year, MTV Europe Music Awards, and so on, but it also represented a milestone in the music business. Indeed, on April 1st, 2006, it made music pop history because it was the first song to top the charts based on download sales alone. And indeed, it was released for sales in traditional shops only on April 3rd. And this song, this result was a big evidence of the fact that we were living a big revolution in the music industry. Because music industry in the past was not based on the internet. And this is a big news for you that you are so young. But at some time, we could observe a big change. Internet changed everything. And this was a bigger evidence of the fact that internet was a new technology that was revolutionized everything also in music industry. And so I would like to tell you something about this revolution. And we know that also before internet, other innovations impacted music consumption. And you could consider a number of different technologies, past technologies, such as a phonograph or flat disk records or radio or the tape or Walkman or compact disc. And these are technologies, new technologies, and very innovative technologies in the past. And today, I would like to focus on more recent innovations. And I would like to tell you something about the story of MP3. Our story could start in 1991 with the invention of MP3. What is MP3? MP3 is an algorithm that allows the compression of digital audio. And with this algorithm, you can transform a song into a file, and this file could be kept on a hard drive, and the file was small enough to be shared over the internet. And so this big innovation is introduced a very innovative faster transmission via internet. Okay, and so we could say that this innovation is at the base of the revolution of music industry. But you know, I want to stress that this invention is a part of this big revolution of the music consumption only after a long journey. This means that this journey was needed for transforming this new technology into a successful innovation. So now I would like to say you something about this journey, this process that was needed for transforming a new technology, a new algorithm, into a successful innovation that now could be considered as a standard, okay? First of all, we can say that the point is that after the invention of MP3, also other competing algorithms were produced. So we could observe that it was not so obvious that MP3 was the first and the only algorithm used by users, by software and hardware companies. So we could say that a standard battle started. On the one hand, you can find MP3. On the other, you could find also other competing algorithms. Okay, and so The question is, which are the main factors that influence this result? And the result is the success of MP3. And we can say that we should consider not only the characteristics of MP3, and so the technological characteristics of this algorithm, but we should consider also actions made by the inventor of MP3 and by other actors of the ecosystem of innovation, of the industry, of the music industry. Okay, so if you want to understand the success of this algorithm, of this innovation, of this potentially successful innovation, you have to consider the characteristics of the single technology, but you have to consider also other factors. And first of all, you should consider the actions made by the inventor. Okay, so first of all, you should consider the inventor. And we can say that the success of MP3 was influenced by the fact that the inventor introduced for the first time this invention, but introduced also continuous improvements of this algorithm. So the inventor understood that it was very important to improve the first product that was sold into the market. So first of all, incremental innovation was very important. But I want to stress also the fact that the inventor also acted to prevent imitation. And Fraunhofer, the inventor, decided to patent the algorithm, MP3, for capturing the value of its innovation. It's very important, this point, I think. It's very important because if you want to be a successful innovator, you have to be able to create an innovation, but you have also to be able to capture the value from your innovation. And for example, patenting the innovation could be very important. Okay? So the idea is that Fraunhofer should decide to select between two different opposite strategies for preventing innovation. On the one hand, Fraunhofer could decide to patent, but at the same time, Fraunhofer had to decide also to do some things, to create some actions for increasing the diffusion and the adoption of MP3, okay? So on the one hand, Fraunhofer decided to patent the algorithm for preventing innovation, but at the same time, Fraunhofer had to create some conditions for increasing the level of diffusions and the level of adoption of MP3. And so there were two opposite strategies. On the one hand, it could decide for a free use. On the one hand, it could decide to enforce its patent. Fraunhofer selected an intermediate strategy. Indeed, it decided to pursue a partially open licensing approach. That means that it created a partnership with Thomson Multimedia as the exclusive licensing representative of MP3 patents. That means that if you want to create a successful product, you have to consider actions for preventing imitation, but at the same time, for you, it's very important that your new product will be used. And so you have to create conditions that favor the diffusion and the adoption of your innovation. Okay? And so perhaps in this case, you have to create some partnerships with external actors that could help you to increase the use of your innovation. And at the same time, Fraunhofer understood the importance of continuous incremental innovation for improving the product. Okay, so this is a very important point. A successful innovator should consider both problems that are connected with imitation, and so it has to create some conditions that prevent, that allow him to capture the value from innovation, but at the same time, a good innovator should consider the importance to create conditions that increase the use and so the diffusion, the adoption of the new product. So we are describing a process where you should consider not only the first step, the creation of a new idea, the creation of the first product, but we are observing a number of different activities that compose the process of innovation. In the process of innovation, you have to consider not only the creation of a product, but also some other activities that should be created after the launch of the product. But if you want to create a successful innovation, you know, it's very interesting to underline that success of MP3 was influenced not only by the inventor, but also by several other actors that influenced the level of diffusion of MP3. And among these actors, you could consider users. Users really actually appreciate this product. And so users started to share their music online by using this algorithm. You have to consider also software companies. Software companies released many variants of MP3 encoders and decoders. You should consider also hardware manufacturers. Hardware manufacturers decided to produce MP3 players. So it was 1996 when Fraunhofer won the battle for dominant design in compressed audio formats. And now MP3 can be found on computers worldwide. Some comments at this for this first part of the story. First idea, invention is not synonymous of successful innovation. The invention is only the first step of a successful innovation. A successful innovation is the result of a long journey and is the result of a process that transforms a brilliant knowledge, a good idea, into a successful innovation. This is a very, very important idea. If you consider a new idea, if you consider an invention, you are not talking about an innovation. Innovation is something different, okay? Innovation is a good idea that is able to create value for users. And so not necessarily an invention is a successful innovation. Innovation management, second idea. Innovation management can be used for obtaining a successful innovation. Consider, for example, the decision to patent for capturing the value of the invention. Consider the strategy for increasing the level of adoption. And so, for example, the decision to create agreements with external partners, important partners. So, in this first part of the story, we are observing another very important aspect. If you want to be an innovator, you have to consider not only your actions, but also actions of an ecosystem of innovation. You have to consider all the actors, all actors that could influence the success of your new idea. Okay, so a successful innovation is the result of a process. A successful innovation is the result of actions made by the inventor, but also by many other actors. Okay? And this is a very useful idea, I think. So if you are considering a new market, a new business opportunity, please consider all the actors that could be important for influencing the success of your product, of your new product, of your innovative product, okay? First idea. First ideas. But the story goes on. And Antiquary story is interesting because of its innovation dynamics. But perhaps it's more interesting if we consider its following impact on music industry. Indeed, you know, if we observe present music industry, we know that compressed audio formats enabled new experiences of consumption. You can listen music online, and also new business models, new business opportunities. Consider, for example, the presence of Spotify, Apple Music, and so on. So, also the success of these new business opportunities, new business models, of new experiences of consumption are the result of the long journey. And I wanted to tell you something about this long journey, okay? Okay, and I want to tell you something about Napster. Napster. Do you know something about Napster? It was 1999 when an 18 years old boy, a student at Northeastern University of Boston, so a boy like you, a young girl like you, for example, create a new, very innovative technology. This boy released Napster, a software which enabled peer-to-peer transactions between different people connected via the internet. And this was a big revolution because it allows the sharing of music between people that are very far. You know, of course, the practice of sharing music has always taken place, but it has never taken place in the scale that the internet allows. This was a big revolution. And, you know, now perhaps you could consider this idea of sharing music as a normal idea, but at those times, it was a big revolution. And furthermore, we could underline that Napster experience was a huge threat to the established music business since it involved no payment of royalty. Okay? And of course, Napster's induced a strong reaction by incumbent firms. For example, by the Recording Industry Association of America, the trade group that represents the leading music industry in the United States. And so this association decided to start a legal action against Napster. Okay? So we could observe a case when a new technology created many problems in an existing industry. Okay? So if you want to create a new technology, and this technology probably would create some problems in existing industries, you should expect that incumbent firms start some actions against you. Public opinion's reaction was controversial. On the one hand, somebody thought that this association was right to defend legality. Okay. On the other, others thought that this association was only defending a business model that had become outdated, and that this group thought also that it was very difficult to fight a technological advance by legal action alone, and that many understood that legal action was not enough. It was necessary to create an alternative, a different business model. You know, but the story is complicated, and we could say that at the beginning, this association had some successful result. Indeed, in 2001, the Napster service was taken offline because the court ruled in this association favor. And so we could say the record labels won the battle against Napster, but this was only the first step. On the other hand, we could say that the revolution started by Napster was successfully continued, okay? And indeed, other services similar to Napster began to spread out online. And the same US court appeal rejected claims that peer-to-peer violated copyright law. I would like that you read this sentence. I think this sentence is very important. History has shown that time and market forces often provide equilibrium in balancing interests. Whether the new technology be a player piano, as in the past, a copier, as in the past, a tape recorder, a video recorder, a PC, a karaoke machine, or an MP3 player. So, in this sentence, we could observe an idea. Defending the past probably is not the right path. Something new was necessary. Okay? So if we are observing new technologies, probably we have to create something new for defending, for using these new technologies. And defending the past probably is not the right path. Okay? Indeed, at the end, new technology will be successful technology, successful innovations. You know, incumbent firms, record labels, tried to create something new, okay? They continued to create, to use legal action against peer-to-peer service and users for defending themselves from these technologies. But also they try to create some alternative services, but these labels were not able to offer a service that users appreciate. And here we can observe another interesting point. A successful solution against illegal sharing of music was offered by Apple. Apple was a new entrant. And on April 2005, Apple opened iTunes Music Store. Apple was able to create a successful service because it was able to conclude agreements with the 5 major record labels. It was able to offer users a very interesting initial catalog of songs for purchase at 99 cents per song. That means a good price, a price that was considered a good price by users. It was able to find a solution for the protection against illegal sharing. This is a very interesting point. Incumbent firms were not able to create a successful product. A new entrant was able to create a successful service. We could observe immediate signs of success, 50 million downloads within the first year. And, many commentators identify some factors that help iTunes success, that explain iTunes success. Perhaps it was useful a cool image, or the use of familiar MP3 format, or perhaps an attractive price, the ability to define an attractive price. Okay. When we think at managerial abilities, so we could think also at the ability to identify the good price, the right price for the new product, or the ability to create agreements with all 5 major labels. And also in this case, we could talk about managerial abilities, managerial competencies, because we are talking about the ability to create partnerships with external actors that could influence the success of our new service, new product, okay? Or also the ability to create the fair play DRM that was not so restrictive as other competing formats. Again, another aspect that probably had influenced the success of this new service was the creation of iPods, an hardware, so a new product, hardware that the user could use for listening music, okay? So, here you can find that if you want to understand the success of a new product, you have to consider factors that deal with the demand side, but also the supply side. Okay? The demand side, that means you have to consider your users, your customers, the needs of your customers, which is the price that is the best price for your potential customers, which is a good brand image that you have to create for interacting with your customers. We are talking about marketing. So the point is that for creating a successful innovation, you have to consider, of course, technology. In many cases, not in every case, but in many cases, many. You have to consider technologies, new technologies, innovative technologies, but you have to consider many other factors that would be very important for creating success. So you have to consider the demand side, but you have to consider also the supply side. And so all the factors that influence your ability to create, to sell the new product, the new service, and so on. Okay. Another milestone in February 2006, the billion song was purchased in iTunes. And in 2011, sales of digital music surpassed the sale of physical business. And so we could consider this data a definitive data of the revolution of music. So, of course, the story is not finished, and many other new products, new services will be created. And now I would like to finish this part with some comments. Okay, first idea. Of course, several technological innovations have deeply influenced the music consumption in the last 2 centuries. And in the last years, technological innovation has set in motion a big revolution. And internet is a big part of this revolution. And of course, internet is not only another commercial channel for selling music, but the internet is a new technology that has been able to modify the way in which music is created and distributed. And so internet is a technology that has modified the business model, the main business models that are present in the music industry. Okay, so if you want to understand the results, the impact of new technologies, you have to consider not only new services, new processes, you have to consider also new business models that could be introduced by using innovative technologies. This is a new, very important idea. If you think at a new technology, of course, you can see this technology as a business opportunity. And when you think at business opportunity, you can think at new products, new process, but also at new business models. Okay? So, this is evident in this story. iTunes is not only a new service. iTunes is based on a very innovative business model. So, the ability to catch opportunities from a new technologies could be based on the ability to imagine not only new services, not only innovative processes, but also innovative business models. Indeed, in this story, we could observe that in the past, a well-established business model, and then we could observe then after the introduction of new technologies, internet and not only internet, we could observe several innovations, service innovations, product innovations, process innovations, business model innovations. And all these innovations determined a significant disruption of the industry. And when we think of disruption in the industry, we are talking about a change in relevant competencies. Competencies that could be relevant in the past, perhaps are not relevant for the new business models. That means that, for example, after internet, there was no more need for competencies related with manufacturing CD, for example, or We could say that there was a need for new competencies for managing new services as Spotify. But when we think at disruption, we are talking also about a change in competitors and in the rules of competition. Apple is a new competitor. Incumbent firms, old firms, traditional big players have been not able to catch opportunities of new technologies. Okay, and this is a very interesting aspect. Very frequently, when we observe the introduction of new technologies, very innovative technologies, radical technologies, disruptive technologies, we could observe that incumbent firms, incumbent actors are not able to understand and to manage opportunities of very radical innovations, very radical innovative technologies. Okay? Very interesting aspect. That means for you that if you are able to create a new startup, if you are able to create a new firm, perhaps you will be the firm that will be able to catch opportunities better than incumbent firms. This is the reason why when we are observing the introduction of new technologies, such as in this period, okay, historical period, we could observe that many startups are created. Because very frequently startups are able to understand, to identify new opportunities, better than traditional big players, okay? So we are talking about the possibility that you will be an entrepreneur that will create a startup for catching opportunities from a new technology, okay? Other ideas. As I said, when we think at the revolution of music industry, we are talking about several types of innovations. We are talking about new services, iTunes, but we are talking about also the creation of a new business model, okay? So, another idea. If you want to be innovative, you have to be able to explore the big space of innovation. And in the big space of innovation, you could find new products, new processes, new markets, new business models, okay? So if you want to be an innovative entrepreneur, you have to consider all these types of innovations. As I said, innovation management could play a very important role for success. And so a successful of MP3, for example, is the result of the ability to manage technology, strategy, organization, and managerial dimensions, okay? So successful innovation calls for many types of competencies. Technical competencies, strategic competencies, that means the ability to create a good strategy. Organizational competencies, that means the ability to create an organization that help you to develop the idea, sell the idea, and in general, managerial competencies. Okay. Another point, relevance of industry dynamics. Importance of adopting a systemic perspective. When we think at innovation, we have to consider the single innovator, that could be inventor or the innovative firm, but you have to consider also actors outside the firm's boundaries, because these actors play an important role in the success of innovations. Okay, so this is a very important aspect. You want to be a good entrepreneur, you want to be a successful entrepreneur, and so perhaps you could decide to focus on only on activities of your new firm. And it's a good decision. But remember, you have also to consider the possibility to create partnerships with external actors, to analyze decisions of other actors, competitors, for example, new entrants. So when you will decide the strategy for your innovation, you have to create a strategy that considers the actions of your firm, but also the actions of other actors. And you should be able to react in the right way against the actions of external actors. Okay? So you should consider the so-called industry dynamics. For example, an example of this industry dynamics is a standard battle. The battle that is used for determining which is the innovations that will be the innovation that is used by the majority of consumers. Okay? This is the first part of the story. And now I would like to conclude this first part by underlining the importance of innovation management. Okay? So the question is, why innovation management? Why you should consider not only technological competencies, but also managerial competencies. Okay. You know, the starting point is that technological innovation is very important. This is the starting point. We could observe that in many industries, technological innovation is now the most important driver of competitive success. This is the starting point. That means that we could observe a reduction of product life cycles. And so this means that if you are a firm, you should create many new products. We could observe that if a firm does not innovate quickly, it finds its margin diminishing as its products become obsolete. So you should introduce new products, and your innovation process should be shorter and shorter. Okay? So you should be able to be a good innovator, and a good innovator that is able to introduce many new products in a shorter and shorter time. And not only product innovation is very important, but also process innovation is very, very important. Process innovations help many manufacturing firms to be more efficient. And we know that in competition, in global competition, be efficient is an essential part of many businesses. Okay? So product innovation is important, but also process innovations
process innovations could be essential to remain competitive. Not only to be the leader of your market, but also to be competitive enough to remain in your market. Okay? So innovation is important for leaders, but innovation is important for all firms, every firm that is present in every market. Okay? So the idea is that in many industries, all industries, it's necessary to be good innovators, to defend or to increase competitive advantage. Okay? When we think at innovation and when we think at the importance of being competitive, you should consider not only big firms, but also small and medium firms. Innovation is very important for every firm, not only for big firms, but also for small and medium firms. Small and medium firms, you know, are very important for our economies, for European economies, for example. So, companies, for achieving competitive advantage, should be innovative and should be able to introduce successful innovations. So, being innovative is not enough. You should be a successful innovator, okay? And you should consider innovation in its broadest sense, including new technologies and new ways of doing things. And I think that this point it's a very challenging one, because when we think at new ways of doing things, we are thinking at, it's a question for you. Can you imagine ways of doing things in a different way? You should create, for example, innovative. Can you imagine some examples? Movie. Okay. Other ideas? You can use also the example that we have proposed in the first part. Okay? A new technology is, for example, MP3 was a new technology. Okay? New ways of doing things could mean, for example, okay, artificial intelligence is a new technology. Okay? When we think at new ways of doing things, we are thinking, for example, at our ability to use new technologies for doing things that in the past we are used to doing a different way. So in the past, for example, if you wanted to listen music, you should buy CD. Nowadays, if you want to listen music, okay, perfect. I ask you some examples. New technologies and new ways of doing things. During this week, probably you have listened many ideas, many details, many theories about the new technologies. And I ask you, are you imagining imagine something about the way you can create for using those technologies, for doing things in a different way? Yes. Okay. Will you listen her? Okay.
Create new ways,
Okay, very good, very good. The idea is that if we think at innovation, we are thinking not only at new technologies, but we are thinking at the way you can use for using these technologies. Okay? You can create a new service by using the technology. But you can create a new product by using artificial intelligence. Okay? So if you want to be innovative, you have to identify a new technology, but you have also to identify the way you can use this innovative technology. Okay? And so you have to be able to create characteristics, attributes of new products, of new services, of new business models, okay? So when we think at innovation, we are thinking at new technologies, but we have to think also at new products, new services, new business models, okay? A big idea of innovation. The problem is that innovation is an imperative, but most innovative ideas do not become successful new products. This is a problem for innovation. You could have many ideas, but only a small number of ideas will become successful innovations. Okay? So you should create many ideas. You should implement some of these ideas for being able to obtain one, perhaps, if you are a good innovator, one successful innovation. We define this innovation funnel. Many small number of successful innovations. So innovation has an inherent variability. Consider that some research pointed that 85% of new ideas never reach a market. 60% of R&D projects are market failures. 40% of consumer products and services fail. 20% of business products and services fail. So the question is, innovation is necessary, but being successful innovators is so difficult. So the idea that I want to propose you today is that the rate of success can be improved by using better and different management. Okay? So if you want to be not only an innovator, but also a successful innovator, you should use innovation management, because innovation management could help you to be successful. Consider this sentence. Schilling is the author of an important textbook of innovation studies, of innovation management. So if you want to know something more about innovation, please consider this author and the textbook of this author, Schilling. One sentence. While innovation is popularly depicted as a freewheeling process that is unconstrained by rules and plans, that means, oh, today I have a good idea. So, as a consequence, I will be a successful innovator. Okay? This is a very frequent idea. Study after study has revealed that successful innovators have clearly defined innovation strategies and management processes. That means that if you analyze stories of successful innovations, you will discover that at the beginning of these stories, you can find the definition of a good strategy and the ability to manage all innovation processes, all processes that are relevant for transforming a good idea into a successful innovation. Okay? Very important starting point for innovation management. We want to discover how we can define good strategies. We want to discover how we can manage innovation processes. Because strategies and innovation processes are very important for being successful innovators. Okay? So, innovation management is an important area of study because the different abilities of organizations to obtain benefits from innovation depends upon how innovation is managed. Okay? So, the point is that perhaps you have been able to identify a good idea. This is only the first step. A good idea, it's only the first step. A good idea is not an innovation. If you want to obtain a successful innovation, you have to be able to manage all the activities that are needed for transforming an idea into a product, innovative product, into a innovative process, into an innovative business model. Okay? Remember always that innovation is relational. Although all new ideas emerge from the inspirational efforts of individuals or firms, innovation is primarily a relational activity. That means that innovation requires interaction between different people, teams, functions, firms to be successfully achieved. Okay? So, you are important. You are the leader of your innovation, but you have always to consider all actors of your ecosystem of innovation. You are the leader, but you have to consider all other actors. You will be a leader if you will be able to consider all the actors that will be relevant for your project. And this is the only way for transforming an innovation into a competitive advantage. If you will be able to manage innovation process, if you will be able to create good strategies, you will be able to transform innovation into a competitive advantage. That means that you will be better than your competitors to be. Okay, these are the main ideas for this first part. And as I said, in the second part, we will consider these two questions. How many types of innovation do exist? And in part, we have already explained this point. And the second question is, how can we represent an innovation process? That means, which are the main activities that you should consider for creating an innovation process, an innovation? Two main theoretical frameworks. One framework, the 4 P's of innovation space for answering the first question. A second framework, innovation that describes innovation as a process. Okay? So in the second part, we will present these two frameworks. So now we have a break. and then we will start to consider these two questions. Thank you. Okay. I don't know. 5 minutes. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Now, I would like to develop the second part of this lesson. The main idea remains the same. Innovation could be also not only a technological challenge, but also a managerial challenge. And in the first part, we develop this idea, we present this idea, and now I would like to present innovation as an outcome, as a result, and innovation as a process. Okay, the question is, what is innovation? And I propose you this definition by Doxo. Doxo and Ali are authors that developed this definition, important authors of innovation studies. Innovation is both an outcome and a process, a fact and intent. This is very important because very frequently when we think at innovation, we think only at new products. And new products, new process are a result, are example of results. But if you want to create a successful innovation, you should remember that you should manage all the activities that are needed for transforming a good idea into a successful innovation. So, innovation is a result, a final result, a successful MP3, a successful iTunes, okay? But innovation is also the word we use for referring to all the activities of this process. So let's start with the first part. Innovation as a result, as an outcome. You can find many different definitions of innovation, and I want to propose this one. Innovation is the successful exploitation of new ideas. And this, I think, would help you to understand the difference between a new technology and a new product, a new successful, innovative product. You can have an idea of new product, but an innovation, you can define an innovation something that helps you to offer value to users. An innovation is something that is able to create and deliver value to users. So the question is, are you able to create value to someone or something? And which is the value that you are creating for something, a firm, an organization, or somebody? An innovation is something that is able to create value to users. So you have to identify your user, and you have to identify the type of value that you want to offer to your user. So, for example, you want to create value, you want to work in a specific market, and you have to segment this market, and you have to identify your market segment the first time. And then you have to be able to identify the needs of your target. And the following step is understanding how your new product, new service can satisfy the needs of your target. Okay? So the big question when you want to be innovative is, am I able to create value to someone, to something, a firm, an organization, a customer? Which is the value that I'm creating? Okay, so you can have a brand idea, and you want to exploit this new idea for creating something that has value to a specific user. And when we talk about value, we can refer to economic value, social value, environmental value, okay? So, brilliant idea, first step. Result, innovation. Innovation deals with the ability to create value to someone, to a user. You have to be able to identify the user and to define the value that you are creating. You know, we can talk about sustainability. Sustainability is very important, it's more and more important. Okay, we can say that many firms are trying to create innovations that are able to create value, environmental value. Okay, for example, you can create a new innovative process that help other firms to reduce their environmental impact of their production process. Okay, you are creating an innovation. So, for example, you can use artificial intelligence for modifying already existing production processes, for reducing the impact from an environmental point of view. Okay? So, you are using a new technology for creating an innovation that is able to create value to users. And value, in this case, could be economic value, or environmental value, social value, and so on. Okay? When we think at innovation, as I said in the first part, we can identify different types of innovations. Obviously, very frequently, when we think at innovation, we think at product innovation. But the product innovation is only one type of innovation that you can produce. Hidden methods that are two authors of a very famous managing innovation textbook that you can use for reading something about innovation management. Hidden methods propose identifying 4 types of innovation: paradigm innovation, process innovation, product innovation, and position innovation. They define this framework as the space of innovation. That means that they suggest to identify the possible space where actors can innovate. They stress this point. You could be very innovative, not only by introducing product or process innovation, but also introducing position and paradigm or business model innovations. Okay? They also stress another point: the difference between incremental and radical innovation. When we think at innovation, we could think at incremental innovations. That means innovations that introduce little changes in the already existing products. Or we could have radical innovations when the intensity of innovation is high. Okay? If you are able to perhaps use artificial intelligence, perhaps you are able to introduce a radical innovation, something that is very different from already existing products. And so, when you consider each type of innovation, paradigm, product, and position, you could consider both incremental and radical innovation. Obviously, we are talking about a continuum. The intensity of innovation from incremental to radical changes, increase gradually. Okay? Let's start by saying something about product innovation. When we think of product innovation, we are talking about the outputs of an organization. So we are talking about changes in the things that an organization offers. That could be a new car, but also a new service, a new website, okay? Outputs, product innovation. I would like to underline some trends in product innovation. One interesting trend is the increased relevance of extended benefits. Consider this example. Each product will be described as a group of attributes. Some attributes are core benefits. For example, price, shape, design, function, packaging, modularity, openness. The same product could also offer extended benefits. Pre-sales advice, personalization, post-sales customer services, insurance, terms of payment. Okay. It's very important to understand that increasingly we are observing a bigger and bigger importance of services, of extended benefits. If you want to offer an innovative service, an innovative product, you should consider not only core benefits, but also extended benefits. For example, if you are able to define very innovative post-sale services, perhaps you could be more successful because your customers will appreciate this type of innovation. Okay? I want to underline another point. When I describe a product, I use the term benefit. I want to ask you, why, according to your vision, according to your opinion, I use the concept of benefits. Benefit.
There's another project, so it is the same as other products and the farming comparative.
Okay. Other ideas? Thank you.
Because it's an own decision to connect to everyone.
Those is
You can make it how you want, it's up to you.
okay. Other ideas? Thank you. Okay. Interesting is also this idea. When we think of benefit, we are stressing one point. It's very important always to consider customers. The value of a product is linked with customer perception. Okay? So, if you want to describe a product, you have to identify benefits that your customers could obtain by using your product. Okay? So, in this framework, underlying this framework, this simple framework, there is a very important stress on the importance of customer perception. You have always to consider the needs of your customer. You have to consider how your product could help your customer to satisfy needs, her or his needs. So, the point is that when you want to be innovative, when you want to introduce product innovation, the question is, how can I increase the level of satisfaction of my customer? How can I satisfy better customer needs? How can I increase customer benefits that customer could obtain by using my product innovation? Okay? So, this is a very important point. You have to change the perspective. You have to adopt customer perspective, customer point of view. A new technology could be a successful technology only if is able to create value, to a user. Creating value means offering benefits. Is it clear? Okay. This is a very important point. And marketing could help you to analyze customer needs, to analyze product benefits, and so on. If you are an inventor, it could be not easy to adopt a marketing perspective. Because very frequently inventors, big inventors, are very strong technical competencies. They know very well technologies, new technologies, and this is very, very important. These competencies are very, very important. But you have to combine these technological competencies also with marketing competencies. Marketing competencies could help you to analyze customer needs, to identify relevant benefits, to understand that, for example, services are very important for your customers. Okay, this is a very important part of innovation. And you know, we are talking about the idea that I've proposed in this slide. Innovation deals with the ability to create value to users. So it's very important to identify your user, to analyze needs of your users, of your target. So, you know, this is a very important and not so easy, because the problem here is to understand how to use a new technology for satisfying needs of a specific target. Okay? You can create a new platform, you can create a new service for different targets. Each target has a specific need. So, first of all, you have to be able to identify your target, and then you will be able to create the better product for that target. Okay? So, the first type of innovation is product innovation, product or service innovation. Another type of innovation is process. Process innovation deals with the way an organization conducts its business. For example, techniques of producing or marketing goods or services. Okay? And very frequently, process innovation are oriented towards improving the effectiveness or efficiency of production. For example, reducing the reduction of defect rates. Okay, consider that process innovation is very important for every firm. Reducing cost, being competitive from a cost point of view is very important for every firm. Even if you are a leader that is able to produce a very differentiated product, okay, for you, it will be very important to obtain an efficient product process, okay? So also, process innovations will be very important, okay? Consider that process innovation can be extended also to delivery. So when you think at process innovation, you are thinking at production process, but also you can refer to distribution process. So For example, the decision to use a specific DHL service for delivering your products, or another solution is something that deals with process innovations. So when we think at process innovation, we are thinking at all the activities that are needed for transforming raw materials to a product, and then to allow the customer, final customer, to use the product. Okay. Another type of innovation is position innovation. And when we think at position innovation, we think at changes in the context in which the product services are introduced. It means the ability to identify new markets, new segments for your already existing product. Consider these two cases. Glucosate was developed in 1927 from a glucose-based drink to help children and invalids in convalescence. Whereas the drink aimed at the growing fitness market. So, in the first part of the story of this product, the firm identified a market, children. In the second part of the story of this product, the firm understood that it was possible to sell the same product or modified product to a different segment, to a different market. We can refer to this innovation as a position innovation, okay? And it's a very interesting type of innovation because it could be useful to understand that your product could be modified for being sold also to other segments. Frequently, we could have position innovation together with product innovation, and sometimes also with process innovation. The last type of innovation that I want to propose you is paradigm innovation. And when we think at paradigm innovation, we are thinking at changes in the underlying mental models, business models which frame what the organization does. An example is iTunes. Okay, iTunes was a business model innovation. When iTunes was introduced in the market, it could be considered a business model innovation. That means I know that you have introduced, this concept of business model, and business model deals with all the activities, all the actors that are used for managing, for creating the business. Okay, so sometimes a product innovation is not enough. Sometimes, if you want to remain competitive, you have to introduce not only a product innovation, not only a process innovation, but a paradigm innovation. You have to change the whole business model. And in the story, you can find many cases of incumbent firms that have been not able to remain competitive because they have not being able to transform the business model. This is the reason why new firms, startups, frequently are more competitive with new technologies, because startups create a very innovative business models from the very beginning of their ISO. They have not to change their business models. Changing a business model is very difficult for an incumbent firm, okay? So the last type of innovation is paradigm innovation. And, in the last decades, business model innovation is very, very frequent. Also in the past, we could observe cases of business model innovation, but in the past 15, 20 years, business model has become an increasingly important unit of analysis in innovation studies. And you could find many, many examples of business models innovations in the last years. Servitization is an example of business model innovation. Servitization means adding to change the business model by considering services the focus of the activities of also of manufacturing firms. And very, very interesting topic. I introduce only the definition. The process of increasing value by adding services to a manufacturing firm's offering. And this is only a definition, but if you are interested to understand something more about servitization, you can find many studies that are analyzing this topic. Because in the last years, we are observing that new technologies allow servitization, new forms of servitizations. Indeed, many authors talk about digital servitization for stressing the importance of new technologies. Okay. Other definitions that are important. This definition, I've already introduced this definition, difference between incremental innovations and radical innovations. They differ for the level of intensity of innovation. Other interesting definitions that I have partially introduced is competence enhancing innovation and competence destroying innovation. Competence destroying innovation renders the firm's existing competencies obsolete. That means sometimes for being able to create an innovation, a competence destroying innovation, you have to change completely the competencies that you are using. You have to use for creating. And this is a very, very important distinction. Consider that whether an innovation is competence enhancing or competence destroying depends on the perspective of a particular firm. Of course, if you are the startup that has introduced the competence destroying innovation, a very, very innovative product, for example, you have the competencies that are needed for producing this innovation, but probably other firms have not the competencies that are needed for producing this innovation. So for some firms, innovation could be competence enhancing, and for others, the same innovation could be competence destroying. To sum up, and then I will shortly introduce the second framework. Firms can create several types of innovations, not only product and process innovations, but also position and business model innovations. Business opportunities to discover. You can discover many business opportunities if you are able to explore the so-called space of innovation. Okay? Some innovations can be radical or incremental, other can be competence destroying or competence enhancing. These differences are very important because they call for different managerial decisions. Okay? Okay. I ask you to give me the last 5 minutes only for presenting the last framework. Okay, I know that at 11 o'clock. You are used to do the break, but I ask you to present only the framework, then I will give all the material. So if you want, you can read something more by reading this material. Okay. As we said, innovation is a process. And it's a very complex process. The story of MP3, the story of iTunes are very interesting because they stress the idea that innovation is a very complex process because many actors are involved, many decisions should be made, and so on. And for managing innovation, we need to have a good representation of the innovation process. And Tito and Besant proposed this framework for capturing the main activities that are involved in a typical innovation process. Obviously, this framework is a simplified framework. In the reality, you can observe more complex innovation process. But if we want to be good innovators, we should use we could use a simplified model that can help us to identify the main activities that are involved. Okay? Which are the main parts of this framework? First, idea. At the beginning of your innovation, you have to define innovation strategy. You have also to define an innovative organization. So these are two elements that you have to consider before managing the process. Define a good strategy, define a good organization that could help you to manage the process. Okay. Here you can observe a typical process. A typical process of innovation is composed by 4 main phases. The search phase, the select phase, the implement phase, and the capture. In the search phase, the main question is, how can we find opportunities for innovation? It is the phase when you have to explore business opportunities, technological opportunities. You have to explore the space of innovation for selecting good ideas. You have to be able to detect signals from internal and external environment of business technological opportunities. Okay? In this phase, the result of this phase is several ideas, several possible opportunities. In the select phase, you have to select only some of the most interesting ideas. The question is, what are we going to do and why? You have to select only the opportunities that are good for your organization, that are good for the market that you are considering, that are good because, for example, you have the competencies that are needed for developing the idea. The select phase The following phase is the implement phase. The main question is, how are we going to make it happen? It deals with the ability to transform the idea into a concept, into a product. That means producing, for example, the physical product. That means defining all the attributes of the final product. You have, obviously, if we are talking about an innovative product, of course, okay? You have to define, you have to do all the activities to transform the idea, the opportunity into a final product. The last phase deals with the capture phase. The question is, how are we going to get the benefits from it? That means, do you remember the happy free story? For example, you have to decide to patent your invention, your product, okay? In this phase, your goal is to be able to obtain benefits, profits, for example, from your innovation. It's very important. And Peter Besson underlined another point. If you want to be a good innovator in the capturing phase, you have to understand also how you can improve your innovation abilities. That means you have to learn from the innovation process how you can improve innovation, your innovation abilities. So the capturing phase deals with learning from innovation. Because innovation is also, a successful innovation is the result of your ability to be innovative, to innovate. So in the capturing phase, you have to improve your ability to be innovative by learning from also the mistakes that you have done during the process, okay? So this is the last framework that I want to share with you. The idea is that innovation is very important. Innovation, obviously, in innovation, a technological dimension is very important, but managerial competencies could help you to create successful innovations. You have to be aware of different types of innovations that you could consider, and you should be aware of, if you want to transform any idea into an innovation, you have to manage all these phases. A new idea is not an innovation. It's only the starting point of an innovation process. Only at the end, you have a successful product, process, position, business. Okay? Okay. Thank you very much. Grazie a tutti. Also my email, and so if you need, you can write me to the email that you can find at the end, or Raffaella.tabacco@unio.it. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.